reacting to my story animated again. If you just saw my reaction of Vancy, go back and watch that because that was a great video of it because there was a lot of stuff we always like using. But I wanted to do this reaction because I'm feeling a little bit better. I'll be better tomorrow, so I'll be better tomorrow because I'll be a little bit better tomorrow because I'm a little bit better tomorrow. I'm gonna be reacting. I'm gonna still be reacting and recording because on the mobile still because I need to get that video get done and I need to get a new microphone for the PlayStation because I can't get it work. So I'm gonna keep making merch out. There's new merch coming out. Not today yet, but I'm still gonna make some merch coming out on Streamlabs. If you use this one, I'll put the Streamlabs down in the description, and I'll put their channel, and I'll put their channel in the description as well, because I'll put their channel in the description as well. So so this one we're gonna react to is I trained all my life to be a great singer. So I think she's trying to become a singer. I know I've been on the video, so I don't hear her.
I'm Kaylee from LA.
Hey, Kaylee.
Please like and subscribe. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved to sing. My grandma was a professional singer.
Wow.
She sang around the world with the most prestigious orchestras and operas. I miss her and her voice so much.
Wow.
When I got to 10th grade, I became the singer of the family. I went to the most prestigious performing arts school on the West Coast. My favorite class was music, of course. And my favorite club so far was show choir. We had been the best in the state for 14 years, with the trophies to prove it. My best friend Addison is also in show choir with me. He and I met in kindergarten and have been inseparable ever since. He's the funniest guy I've ever known. He's also gotten pretty cute over the years, too. Or at least, that's what all the girls in school think. But I just don't see him that way. Hard to see someone that way when they used to sneak over from next door and put frogs in your bed. Yuck. One day, our show choir teacher, Miss Conrad, had big news for us. We've been asked to compete at this year's National Show Choir Competition. All right! Yeah! But to ensure we get top scores, the soloists will have to be chosen very carefully. Miss Conrad told us that we were going to have to audition for the big solo right in front of each other in 1 week. My nemesis, Heidi, started bragging in front of the whole group. We all know who's going to get it. Me, of course. Everyone knows I have the stage presence of a star. I don't know. I think Kaylee might give you a run for your money. She's got star power and the voice to match. The others' eyes widened. Were they about to fight? Just then, the bell rang. As everyone left the class, I swatted Addison on the arm. Don't start fights with Heidi. She's my biggest competition. That's exactly why you have to stand up for yourself in front of her. I just don't want anyone to think I think I'm better than her. Well then, I guess that's why I'm here. To remind them for you. What would I do without you? Good thing we'll never have to find out. I was so nervous, even though I'd sung in front of our choir before, but the pressure was on. The whole week leading up to auditions, I practiced. In the shower, in the car, between classes. I really wanted to beat out Heidi for the big solo at the end of the show. Finally, audition day arrived. I woke up, put on my cutest outfit, curled my hair, and took extra time with my makeup. After all, if I'm gonna be a big star one day, I might as well start dressing like it now. When I stepped out of my house to walk to school with Addison, his cheeks turned super red. What's wrong? Nothing. You just look different is all. Your hair is... Oh no, does it look bad? Maybe I should have worn it up. I'll just go change. No, leave it. You look good. Great. When I arrived in class, Heidi was sitting in the front row, looking totally perfect. What was I thinking? With her shiny hair, big eyes, and as much as I hated to admit it, her beautiful voice, why would anyone ever look twice at me? But I just tried to remember what my grandma would always say. It's not about who sings the loudest or looks the prettiest. As long as your song comes from your heart, people can't help but listen. So I took a deep breath and sat down next to Heidi, right in the front row. She gave me a once-over and rolled her eyes. Who cared what she thought? I knew I looked great. Miss Conrad sat down at the piano and called Heidi up first. After
It's an advert. That's new. I could like. That's close.
Great. Miss Conrad sat down at the piano and called Heidi up first. After she finished singing, I applauded politely, along with everyone else. Then, it was my turn. I stood confidently and turned to face everyone. Addison gave me a thumbs up from the back row. Such a good friend. Miss Conrad played the opening notes for my song when suddenly, the door to the classroom burst open behind me. I turned to look, and standing in the doorway was the most handsome boy I'd ever seen.
Damn.
Tall, with long brown hair that fell perfectly into his eyes. He looked just like a fairy tale prince. My jaw dropped. He handed a note to Miss Conrad. Class, this is our newest addition, Patrick. He waved to everyone, then put his hand on my shoulder, looked deep into my eyes and said, I'm so sorry I interrupted your audition. Knock him dead. Then he took my seat right in the front row. I gulped. Now I was nervous again. I shook off my nerves, took a deep breath, and nodded to Miss Conrad. As she played, I could feel the music filling me up, all the way to the top. I opened my mouth to sing, and let my song come from my heart. When I finished, the whole class burst into applause. I felt like I was walking on air. Patrick got up to sing something last minute. He was so good. The next day, Miss Conrad put up the list, and I had gotten the solo. And she'd even added a duet in the middle of the show for Patrick to sing with me.
Oh.
Looks like it's you and me, Kaylee. I'm so honored to be singing with someone as talented as you. I felt my cheeks turn red, and he grinned. You're so cute when you blush like that. Be careful, or I might just fall in love. He walked away with a wink at me. I couldn't believe he'd just said that, and neither could Heidi, who'd been listening around the corner. Don't get too comfy with that solo. Once Miss Conrad figures out that you'll cave at the first sign of pressure, I'll be ready to step in. Eavesdrop much? Jealousy isn't your color, Heidi. The next day, we started rehearsing for nationals. Everyone was working so hard, and Patrick and I sounded great together. But when it came to our dance, it was like I'd suddenly grown a second left foot. No, Kaylee, no. Once more from the top. Miss Conrad, I'm happy to come up front and show Kaylee how it's done. Not necessary, but thank you, Heidi. Just here for the team. After I knocked Patrick over by mistake for the third time, Miss Conrad called it a day. Kaylee, please go home and practice. Ugh. I could have wiped that smug look off of Heidi's face. Everyone went to start packing up their bags, and I started to head backstage to get my bag when Patrick came up to me. Hey, gorgeous. Want to stay and practice a little with me? Then it'll be perfect by tomorrow. Oh, I wouldn't want to impose. Your toes must be all bruised. That's okay. I really don't mind. And I wouldn't mind spending a little quality time with my co-star. Well, if you insist. Just then, Addison came up to us. Hey, Kaylee, ready to go? That's okay. I should really practice a little longer. I can practice with you. I could use a few run-throughs myself. Oh, well, Patrick already offered to stay behind and practice with me here. He did he? How are you gonna get home? I can drive her. Oh, do you live in our neighborhood? No, but, I mean, if it's not really convenient for you, I'm not spending time with Kaylee because it's convenient. Neither am I. I'm spending time with her because she's cool. My face turned bright red. Did he really mean that? Addison, I'm gonna stay here too, just for a bit to practice. I'll see you later, okay? Fine, if you insist. I'll, see you when you get home. He turned on his heel and walked out. Patrick turned to me with a grin on his face and held out his hand. Shall we? We practiced more, and I was finally getting good. Patrick swung me out for our final spin, then pulled me in close and dipped me. That's when I noticed his face was just so close, his ice blue eyes staring deep into mine. Was he gonna kiss me? Just then, all the lights in the theater went out. Patrick dropped me in shock, and I shrieked. All of a sudden, the lights came back on, and Miss Conrad stepped back on stage. Oh, hey kids. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were still here. Ugh, I couldn't believe she'd interrupted our moment. Still, we waved goodbye to her and headed out. A little while later, when Patrick dropped me off, he got out of his car to open my door. Such a gentleman. It was nice hanging out tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, superstar. Then he wrapped his arms around me and gave me a big hug. Is this what heaven smelled like? Then I headed up the front walk to my door. So do you like him or something? I whipped around and saw Addison waiting on our front porch swing. I don't know, maybe. He's so cute and really talented. Okay. Cool, I guess. Do you still want to practice? That's okay. I think I got it now. Okay, then. Well, then I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Here, I got you a milkshake. Hey, thanks. He started crossing the yard towards his house. Is it? Cookies and cream. Your favorite. Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow? You know it. Then it was finally time for nationals. As we arrived at the concert hall, I was overwhelmed by all the other groups here and overheard one girl say to another, "She was a little flat at the end." I couldn't believe it. What if I lost us the whole competition? All night and throughout all our warm-ups the next day, it was all I could think about. If I messed up again, I'd be letting everyone down, including myself. And there were several famous music industry people judging the competition. What if I ended my career as a singer before it even started? And then, it was almost time to go up. I tried to calm down, but I was shaking like a leaf. Miss Conrad, Kaylee doesn't look so good. Miss Conrad came over. She looked pretty nervous herself. Kaylee, you look terrible. Are you going to be able to perform? Of course, because if you're sick, I can always put Heidi on. I'm ready to go, Miss Conrad. Just then, I spotted Patrick warming up down the hall. I just need a minute. I raced down the hall towards him. He was stretching, shaking out his hands, jumping up and down. Patrick? His expression was so strange. Was he nervous too? I'm so nervous. Do you think we could practice? Kaylee, I'm kind of busy. What if I really just need some space here, Kaylee. Yesterday, you said we were a team. That doesn't feel like a team to me. I can't do this right now. Could you leave me alone? Fighting back tears, I ran down the hall and found a corner backstage. I couldn't let anyone see me so upset, especially not Miss Conrad or Heidi. What was I gonna do? Suddenly, Addison stepped out of the shadows. He looked so handsome in his costume.
Yeah, he was trying to save you. We're just gonna do one video. We're gonna do one video. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do one video.
He looked so handsome in his costume. Kaylee, are you okay? I threw my arms around him. He caught me and squeezed tight. I'm so nervous. I overheard one of the other teams say I sounded bad. Miss Conrad is ready to replace me with Heidi. Patrick isn't any help, and there's amazing industry people out there, and... You sounded amazing in rehearsal. Those other teams were just jealous. Forget about Patrick and Heidi. Remember why you love to sing. What was it your grandma always said? Sing from your heart? Exactly. Just do that. I took a few deep breaths, and Addison was right. Will you just run the last part of the number with me? Of course. And there, in our little corner of the theater, we stepped, we twirled, we kicked in time together. Addison took my hand, spun me around, and dipped me low. I felt his arm slip. He was dropping me. But right before I was sure I'd hit the ground, he caught me with a twinkle in his eye. I swatted his arm. You tricked me. I'd never drop you. And even if I did, I'll always be here to catch you. Thank you, Addison. Then he smiled at me so genuinely, and my heart fell into my stomach. What was that? Places, please, students, places. Kaylee, are you ready? Yes, Miss Conrad. As we all rushed to take our spots to start our number, Addison shot me a wink. Knock 'em dead, superstar. You too. As soon as the lights came up on stage, I felt a little thrill of excitement. We danced, we sang, we twirled. Everyone had brought their A-game. When it came time for my duet with Patrick, we totally nailed it. But any spark that had been there was gone. As the opening chords of my solo began, the lights shined down on me, and I opened my mouth, and the music poured from my heart. I knew my grandma was right there with me. I hit my final note and held it out forever as everyone finished their steps behind me. As we struck our final pose, the crowd erupted into applause. A standing ovation. I beamed. We totally nailed it. That night, after all the points had been tallied, all the teams gathered on stage behind the judges. Addison reached for my hand and I squeezed back. Thanks for the pep talk. I could have never done it without you. Of course you could have. I'm just here to remind you. You're always there for me. He leaned in close, and I felt a flutter in my stomach as he whispered in my ear. And I always will be, if you let me. I turned to look directly in his eyes. Kaylee, I have to tell you, Just then, the announcer started announcing the winners. Second place, runner-up. Our whole team clasped hands and took a deep breath together.
And the grand prize for this year's National Show Choir competition goes to...
As they said our name, the crowd roared. It was so loud I could hardly think. Confetti rained down on us as Miss Conrad stepped forward to accept our trophy. I threw my arms around Addison and he picked me up, swinging me in a circle. We did it! We did it! As we packed up our things in the dressing room and said goodbye to the new friends we'd made at the competition, one of the judges knocked on our dressing room door. He was an exec for a record label back in L.A.
I was so impressed with you. Your vocals were so clear, and you've got some real presence up there. Give me a call if you think you'd be interested in recording a single.
He handed me his card, and I shook his hand, totally awestruck. Maybe dreams really do come true. I felt so relieved. Not only had I not let everyone down, but I'd made myself proud. On the bus, Addison dropped down in the seat beside me, running a hand through his hair. When he saw me watching him, he grinned, and the butterflies were back.
I'm totally beat, aren't you?
Definitely. I got you something.
Oh, yeah?
I pulled out a bag of gummy worms. Your favorite.
You're the best, Kay.
He ripped open the bag and dug in. Hey, Addison, what was it you were going to tell me earlier?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, I have something I want to tell you.
Yeah?
I like you.
Really?
Really.
I like you too. I have...
Took my hand, and I know my cheeks turned pink.
I got something for you too.
Ooh, okay. I love presents.
Right.
And then he put his hand on my cheek, leaned in close, and kissed me. It was the perfect end to a perfect day.
Oh, that's a perfect ending. Oh, that's a perfect ending. Perfect ending. That's a perfect ending. Perfect ending. Perfect ending. We always want to watch one video because I don't like watching a lot of I don't like watching all through through it. So that was a good ending. I just want to watch one. I just want to watch one video of it so I can watch it. I just want to watch one video. That was a good ending of that of it. But I just want to, so let's wait. So we could do another one. Let's do another. Yeah, let's do another video because I just want to see do you guys like my animation. So we're gonna watch like one more of it. So we're gonna watch this. My experience becoming a female bodybuilder. I know women want to be strong, but let's watch it anyway.
Drinking ice water flushes 1 pound of belly fat every day. People are flushing away pound after pound of thick wobbly.
I was born with long, shiny black hair, blue eyes, and pink, rosy cheeks. Just like my mom, or that's what everyone told me. I never met Mom.
Same.
All I had were pictures of her that my aunt and dad showed me. And she was beautiful. You should enter her into beauty pageants. She'll win every prize, just like her mom.
Maybe. I want her to be a weightlifter, just like me.
Dad was a weightlifting champion, until he was informed that he had weak kidneys and was forced to retire. That was when he opened a cozy little fast food restaurant to make ends meet, but it wasn't doing very well. Hi, everyone. My name is Arden, and I am the She-Hulk of Germany. Please do like and subscribe before I continue. Both Dad and Aunt began deciding my future even before I could say my first words. And so I found a way to make them both happy, and myself too. I began participating in pageants and wore the prettiest gowns, spoke well and smiled gracefully, but the best part was I got to show everyone my unique talent. I can lift this heavy stack of books easily. Everyone was amazed with how effortlessly I, a 6-year-old, could carry weights. As I grew up, I got stronger. I even began to lift actual heavy weights on stage by the age of 13. It became my dream to keep training so that one day I could make it to the Olympics. My beauty pageant wins made me very popular in school. Almost everyone loved me, except for a few who picked on me and would call me Hercules just because I gained some muscles. Honestly, I didn't mind, and it was like a compliment for me. But one time, I saw them pick on a new student, Troy. He was always quiet and was smaller than all the other guys. Hey, go pick on someone your own size. Oh, does tiny Troy need a bodyguard now? What are you gonna do? Well, first, if you want to talk to me, you should meet my eye line. I was pretty proud of myself. Soon I even began receiving letters and small little gifts congratulating me when I won competitions. It looked like I had a secret admirer. One evening when I got home, my dad and aunts looked so worried. I asked Dad what was wrong. He just brushed me off, saying it was nothing. It's not nothing. We're running out of money and your dad's treatments are getting more expensive. And whose fault is that? You're the one who doesn't save and spends every penny. You even spent all of Arden's competition money. It was for her other competitions. Please, both of you, calm down. We have to work together and think of ways to bring in extra money. They both relaxed a little and tried to think, but couldn't come up with anything. This was way worse than I thought. I couldn't let the restaurant close, and I couldn't let Dad miss his treatments because of it. I searched all over the internet for weightlifting competitions I could join, but all the ones I could find that paid were for grown men, not girls. So I decided to make my own. I passed out flyers all over town and made videos of me lifting dogs, tables, dressers, hoping that would make people curious enough to come. I told Dad, we can use the restaurant as the venue. It'll bring customers and we'll have a place to host the show. What exactly is the show? You're lifting dogs? I'll lift anything anyone can bring. But there's one problem. We need to offer prize money for people to compete with me. That'll be all the money we have. If we lose it, we won't. When I beat them, they'll have to pay me instead. Dad was very concerned, but he trusted me. If anyone can do this, it's you. I won't let you down. But the truth was, I was terrified. What if I lost even the little bit of money we had left? We had no other choice. And when the day came, many people showed up because they had loved my videos. Dad was making money without even trying. And of course, I was able to lift everything they brought, from more dogs to big weights, and even some of the people themselves. Not only did we make a bunch of money and save the restaurant, we got so much attention that I was given a scholarship at the best training academy in the country. And the best part, being at this training academy meant I would even get a chance to compete at the Olympics someday. Then I got another letter from my secret admirer saying congratulations for the big win. I had no idea who it could be. One weekend while I was visiting home, Dad had asked me to move a table to the outside seating area. They made me do every chore that required lifting or moving heavy things. Just as I began moving it, a very good-looking guy ran up to me, and my heart did a little backflip when I saw him. That's new. Wait, let me help you out. This is very heavy. Oh, no, it's completely fine. Oh, not at all. You might end up hurting your back. Oh, but he did. I watched in amusement as he frowned and struggled to move the table around. I had to hold back my laughter, but I couldn't help staring at him. He was so dreamy, kind, and sweet. Really, it's fine. I can do it. Arden, I know how strong you are, but I don't mind helping. How do you know me? Oh, sorry. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jude. I was at the same school as you, and my little brother was in your class. I've seen you at competitions. You're really amazing. Oh my God. He was so kind. Wait, what if he was my secret admirer from...
Yeah, what were you see admire back then?
He was my secret admirer from back then. Turns out, he was now a final year medical student and visited our restaurant often with his friends. Pretty soon, I began visiting home often just to run into him. We would talk the entire time he was there, and he always praised me for my achievements in weightlifting and pageants. Now I was sure that Jude was my secret admirer. It was tradition for students to throw a coin into the fountain at the Academy campus fountain for good luck. Of course, I didn't believe it, but there was no harm in trying, right? Okay, let's try this out. I wish to go to the Olympics. Making a wish to meet someone as good-looking as me? Who do you think you are? Arden, it's me, Troy, from school. Troy? Oh, no way!
How'd you get so tall? I'm sorry, I mean, you were... Yeah, I was a very tiny guy.
Turns out, Troy was a swimmer.
He had a good glow-up, huh?
But he was now very vain. He constantly looked at himself when he crossed a glass door or mirror, and always praised his own good looks. He was constantly talking about how girls always get him gifts and food he likes. And he wouldn't stop talking about the amazing red car he was saving up to buy. It was so annoying. I pushed him in a bush to shut him up.
Oh, I see. You're jealous that I'm talking about all these girls.
Actually, I have a crush on someone else, so there. I could tell he was hurt, but he was too cocky. It would never work between us anyway. If you think what I did was mean, I should tell you what he did. Once he promised to give me swimming lessons. He said he would help me when I jumped in, but when I did, he didn't catch me. I started flailing my arms around and thought I was going to drown when he lifted me up in his arms.
Are you all right?
All I could think about was how close our faces were to each other. I mean, I almost drowned, but I'm fine now.
Okay then, my arms hurt.
Saying that, he let go of me and I was back to struggling to stay up in the pool. What a jerk.
Just touch your feet to the ground. It's not that deep.
Well, Troy wasn't lying. When I stood up, the water came as high as my stomach. But I wasn't going to let him get away with dropping me back in the pool. I chased Troy around the building for a good 5 minutes before he hid behind some random stranger. All I could see was red, but the minute I looked up, my jaw dropped. It was Jude. Jude, hi.
Wait, you know Jude?
The real question should be, how do you know him?
Looks like you met my little brother.
What? He's your brother?
Wait, is this the guy you...
Bye, Jude. I'll see you around. Troy had figured out Jude was the crush, and he was not going to let it go. I begged Troy not to say anything to Jude, and even bought him food, held his towel at the end of the line at his swim practice, and even held a mirror for him just to admire himself. He finally agreed, and even helped me by giving me ideas on how to get closer to Jude.
He likes watching football, and MSA videos too, so get to work if you want to have something in common with him. Ugh, man, he's so boring. I mean, look at me. I'm so smart and good-looking, and I'm an athlete.
Wow, no wonder you don't have a girlfriend.
Damn.
You love yourself enough for 2 people. And Jude is he's perfect and handsome.
Damn.
Ugh, gross. Stop talking about my brother. If it'll make you happy, I'll set you guys up on a date. But you have to focus on your upcoming competition first.
I agreed, and I was ready for my date with Jude. Except Jude didn't know it was a date. Troy bought 2 tickets to a movie and gave one to Jude and the other to me. I pretended that it was a coincidence. Jude even dropped me home and opened the car door for me as well. Such a gentleman. He said he would be busy for a while with his medical school midterms, but we should hang out again soon. I told him I would love to, and it was okay because I had to focus completely on the competition to get into the national team. I was so excited for the competition and even invited Troy, but Jude also came. I thought you were busy studying.
I have a couple of hours to watch your big competition. Good luck.
On the day of the competition, however, I was a nervous wreck. Dad, Aunt, Jude, and Troy showed up to support me along with my other classmates. It was a little embarrassing because of the sign they held up with my weightlifting face on it. All red and veiny. It looked like I'd explode. When it was my turn, I lifted the weight and heard cheers until I heard a scream and saw my dad faint in front of me. I left the competition and rushed him to the hospital. The doctor informed us that Dad needed to have his kidney transplant surgery immediately. Aunt and I rushed to get the money to pay for the surgery, but what the doctor said left my jaw on the floor.
Oh, you don't have to worry about it. Someone already took care of it. Your dad is already in surgery.
He then informed us that this person wanted to stay anonymous, but I was sure it was Jude because he asked me to forget about this person now and just stay with Dad. But I couldn't just let him pay such a big amount. But I decided to first help Dad recover before I thanked Jude, who was busy studying anyway. A month later, Dad himself kicked me out of the house and said I had to go back to the academy. And I'm glad he did because I got the best news ever. I was going to get another chance to get into the national team. The new competition was in 3 months, so I trained and trained and trained some more and won. I was over the moon, and I texted Troy and Dad and told them the news. But there was one other person I wanted to give this news to, Jude. I rushed to meet him to thank him and also give him the news.
I was shaking like a leaf as I walked towards Jude, but the minute I saw him, my heart shattered into a million pieces.
What?
He was talking to one of the prettiest girls I have ever seen, and they were smiling wide and holding...
Dang, you just got tricked by him. Oh, that's what that.
Girls I have ever seen, and they were smiling wide and holding hands. Arden, hey, why'd you want to meet so urgently? Everything okay? I wasn't paying attention to anything Jude said after he introduced me to the girl, his girlfriend. He said they'd been best friends since high school, and finally, only a few days ago, confessed to each other that they were in love. That's when I realized our date really wasn't a date. He was just a nice guy. I spoke to her for a bit before I thanked Jude for paying for Dad's surgery. I couldn't tell him about my crush now. Arden, it wasn't me. When Jude told me who it was, I immediately rushed back to the restaurant when I saw him standing there, laughing and talking to my dad. What's going on with you? Are you all right? You paid for the surgery? Why? How'd you even get the money? I can't believe he told you when I asked him not to. I was collecting money to buy the car I wanted. It's not a big deal, Arden. It helped with the It is a big deal. Why did you... It's because I like you, okay? I've liked you since you helped me back in school. You were my secret admirer? Yes, and always came to your competitions to support you. But I was too scared to talk to you in person. And then I saw how you spoke about Jude. You were falling in love with him. You were happy. I didn't want to come in between you two. I wasn't in love with Jude. I was just attracted to him because I thought he was you, the one who wrote those letters. It helped boost my confidence so much. And I like you too, Troy. Just not as much as you love yourself. Troy and I began talking more about all of this, and weeks later, Troy asked me out on a date. Even though he loved himself enough for the both of us, I gave him a chance. And a month later, we began dating. He was there the entire time during my practice. And finally, after years and years of training, hard work, and competitions, I made it to a prestigious international championship and won gold. Everyone supported and cheered for me, including my biggest supporters, my dad, aunt, and of course, Troy. I even opened my own training center and now train young girls in weightlifting and still continue to compete.
Damn. She really owns that. She was really owns that. She is really owns that. Oh, crap.
I wasn't always into hacking. Looking back...
Sorry. I didn't want to press that video. Because I didn't want to press it. I know, I just didn't want to press that video anyways. Because I never was going to. Okay, he's not trying to flip over or something. But I'm going to end the video right here because I love my story made because they got great videos and great storytelling. So I'm going to end the video right here. Join here, squad. Love you. Bye bye.